I'm seeking psychological help, and that alone took me a long time to admit. Not because I don't understand myself, but because I understand myself too well. I've watched the same patterns repeat again and again in my relationships, and each time, I lose a little more peace. When I attach to someone, they don't just become important to me, they become the emotional center of my world. My thoughts revolve around them. My mood depends on them. My sense of safety rises and falls with their presence. And when that connection feels uncertain, distant, or unstable, my entire nervous system reacts as if something terrible is about to happen. I don't just feel sad, I feel panicked, dysregulated, like I'm about to lose something essential to my survival. And that fear changes how I behave. When I'm attached, I'm constantly afraid of losing the person. That fear shows up as anxiety, urgency, and clinginess, even when I don't want it to. I seek reassurance repeatedly. I over-explain my feelings. I reach out again and again, hoping to fix things immediately before they slip away. I know, logically, that this often pushes people further away. I know that space can be healthy, but my body doesn't respond to logic in those moments. It reacts as if abandonment is already happening, as if time is running out. And once that alarm goes off inside me, stopping myself feels almost impossible. What hurts the most is that I don't attach this deeply to just anyone. I seem to be drawn to people who are emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or distant. I chase those who can't fully love me back, while struggling to sustain relationships with people who actually come toward me. When someone is stable and available, I often feel overwhelmed, bored, or disconnected. But when someone is distant or uncertain, my attachment intensifies. I try harder. I give more. I lose myself more. And almost every time, the relationship collapses, not because I didn't care, but because I cared in a way that wasn't safe for either of us. Communication becomes a battlefield in my mind. A delayed reply can spiral into hours of overthinking. A change in tone can feel like rejection. Less warmth can feel like replacement. I analyze messages, timing, punctuation, looking for proof that I'm still wanted. When I don't find it, my thoughts turn catastrophic. They're losing interest. They've found someone else. I'm about to be left. And instead of calming the situation, I escalate it, asking questions, seeking clarity, pushing for reassurance. Ironically, the very thing I do to feel safe often creates the distance I fear. I am an overgiver. I give time, emotional energy, care, attention, and availability far beyond what I receive. I show up fully, intensely, and consistently. But when that investment isn't matched, I don't just feel disappointed, I feel invisible, used, unimportant. And resentment builds quietly inside me. I start to feel like I'm always proving my worth, always doing more to be chosen, always trying to earn love instead of simply receiving it. That emotional imbalance creates pain that eventually spills out in ways I don't recognize as myself. My emotional world is extreme. Connection brings intense bonding and hope, a feeling that everything finally makes sense. But uncertainty brings grief, fear, and emotional collapse. I swing between attachment and forced detachment, trying to pull away just to survive the pain. Neither state feels stable. One consumes me, the other empties me. This constant cycling is exhausting. It leaves me mentally drained, emotionally fragile, and confused about who I really am outside of attachment. I haven't arrived at these patterns by accident. I've experienced betrayal, cheating, rejection, and being sidelined repeatedly. Each experience reinforced the belief that people leave, lie, or choose someone else eventually. Over time, I became hypervigilant, always watching for signs, always preparing for loss. Even in moments of closeness, part of me is bracing for impact. Trust doesn't come naturally anymore. Love feels unstable by default. When I'm triggered, I become emotionally intense. I may apply pressure without realizing it. Urgency, repeated questions, strong reactions. Not because I want control. Not because I want to harm. But because fear is driving me. My system believes something precious is slipping away, and it reacts desperately. I don't recognize myself in those moments. And afterward, I feel shame.regret. Confusion. I wonder how something that started with love keeps turning into something unhealthy. These patterns didn't start in adulthood. They were shaped much earlier, in childhood and adolescence, where rejection, emotional pain, and insecurity taught me that love was unpredictable. That being chosen wasn't guaranteed. That I had to try harder to be enough. My nervous system learned to associate love with urgency, instability, and fear. So now, even when I know better, my body reacts before my mind can catch up. The cycle is painfully familiar. I form an attachment. I invest deeply. I seek certainty. I perceive distance. Anxiety rises. I pursue. The other person withdraws. I feel rejected or betrayed. I collapse emotionally. And then I either detach painfully or keep chasing until the connection breaks completely. Then the pattern starts again with someone new. Each time, a little more damage is done to my sense of self. My triggers are specific and intense, delayed responses, unclear commitment, secrecy, avoidance, seeing the person close to others, or anything that makes me feel replaceable inside. It creates racing thoughts, fear, urgency, and a powerful compulsion to act immediately, to fix, clarify, or prevent loss. Waiting feels unbearable. Uncertainty feels dangerous. The behaviors I want to change are clear to me now. Reassurance seeking, over-explaining, emotional pressure, over-giving, suspicion without evidence, testing partners, and losing boundaries under anxiety. These behaviors once helped me survive emotional pain, but now they damage my relationships and my self-respect. Knowing this doesn't automatically stop them. And that's one of the hardest parts to accept. The cost of these patterns has been heavy. Emotional turbulence, poor sleep, loss of focus, reduced self-esteem, constant exhaustion, and a deep loneliness even when I'm connected to someone. Loving this way doesn't feel safe. It feels like self-erasure. At the core of it all are my deepest fears: abandonment, replacement, betrayal, being too much, and being unlovable unless I keep giving more. Through therapy, I want to understand my attachment system, regulate my emotions, tolerate uncertainty, set boundaries, stop chasing unavailable people, and learn how to communicate needs without pressure. I want to heal the parts of me that learned love through fear. I'm sharing this not to excuse harmful behavior, but to explain it. I am not intentionally toxic. I am fear-driven, emotionally reactive, and aware of what's healthy, yet struggling to live it. I want structured, practical help. I want to love without losing myself. And maybe, by saying this out loud, someone else will recognize themselves here and realize they're not broken, just wounded and capable of healing.